sounds of Africa are like its history. Both have scattered all over the world. But in places away from the continent, memories of African folkways, skills, and abilities are forgotten, or at best inaccurately preserved. That's not true on Sapelo Island, located off the coast of Georgia.
Sapelo Island seems special simply because it's isolated. No bridges connected to Georgia's McIntosh County coast. No industry has polluted its resources. No tourism bureaus have destroyed its beaches or forests. Hello, I'm actor Bill Nunn. Although my home is in Atlanta and I was educated in Georgia schools, nobody ever taught me about the legacy and legends of Sapelo Island.
The people of Sapelo Island are the direct descendants of African slaves brought to the colony of Georgia in the 1800s. The African-American Sea Islanders living on Sapelo today have retained obvious elements of their African culture due to their unique chance to develop a society in virtual isolation from European-American domination. Sapelo's black residents contradict the argument set forth by mainstream social scientists that slavery wiped out all remnants of African culture in the United States. The culture of the black people on Sapelo represents proof of cultural continuity with an African past. In this documentary, you'll learn about the African cultural influences and traditions that are still alive and being practiced by Sapelo's current black residents, just as their grandparents and great-grandparents did before them. Information regarding present-day problems of land ownership and preservation will also be presented. Using this documentary as a catalyst, viewers and students will be able to conduct historical research, allowing them to see, understand, and appreciate the web of relationships between the people, places, and environments, both past and present, on Sapelo Island, Georgia. When you look at the pristine beauty of this forest, as you view beaches seemingly untouched and unspoiled, inland coastline unmarred by docks, or the unclaimed lowland capable of growing rice, one of the world's first foods. As you watch hands perform acts of ancient art with the experience of nearly a century, where do you think you are? The sights just seen may make you think of a land across the sea, Africa. But that's not today's subject. This documentary is about Sapelo. Sapelo is part of the Sea Island chain which stretches from Florida to the Carolinas. But unlike what has happened to people on the islands of Jekyll, Dufusky, or Hilton Head, some of the black families you're about to meet have lived on Sapelo continuously for centuries.
There's a lie that's often pounded into the minds of young black children. They're taught to be ashamed of slavery. But just as German Jews did nothing to deserve the wrath of a madman who reduced their lives to ashes, Africans who came to America as slaves had no reason to apologize for brutality they did not create.
But Dr. Michael Harris of Morehouse College in Atlanta credits the Sea Island slaves with bringing 1,000 years' worth of rice farming experience to the American shores. His research shows that blacks farmed rice in Africa's region near the Senegal and Gambia rivers. The European slave buyers requested Africans with rice-growing skills because they knew about Africa's farming technology. Many of these Africans settled in the Sea Islands. This information is often neglected in traditional history texts. To save more of Sapelo's culture, more people have to take an interest. But first, the islanders have to protect themselves from those outsiders who would try to take their land and their identity. Learning and land ownership occupy a very special place in history for Africans in America. But the African descendants on Sapelo have a particularly gripping story to tell.
We'll explain why next on Sapelo Secrets, Georgia History.